Welcome to another session of English grammar, and today we will be learning active and passive voice in past perfect tense. Okay, and as I've already mentioned in the last classes also, that we are changing sentences from active to passive voice. We are not doing sentences from passive to active voice. That we will do after some times. Let us first understand the conversion of sentences from active to passive voice. Okay, and as you can see, these are actually not formulas for past perfect tense. Today, since we are doing past perfect tense, this is not the formula for past perfect tense. Now this is the formula for present perfect tense. Now why did I put it in this way is because I just want to make you understand the simple thing that present perfect tense and past perfect tense is not much different entirely. There's only one particular thing which has been changed here and which needs to be changed here, which is has and have. Has and have is applicable in present perfect tense, not in past perfect tense. In past perfect tense, has and have everywhere, has and have in formula 3, has have everywhere, it gets replaced by the word had. So wherever you see has and have, that gets replaced by the word had. Rule number 3, has have gets replaced with the word had here. Formula number 4, has have becomes had. All of you have seen the previous videos in the YouTube channel Omni Gyan. Okay, so this becomes had. So wherever you get has and have, that will be replaced by had. So since we have already done present perfect tense, so past perfect tense is the same as present perfect tense. And as we do, okay, as we do examples for each formulas. Okay, so example number 1 for formula number 1. Okay, so I had sold my cow. Okay, I had sold my cow. So first of all, as I told you, that you will have to find the subject and the object. So subject is somebody who does the action, so I here is doing the action, so I becomes the subject, and the target is cow. Whose cow? It is my cow. Okay, so my cow becomes the object, and as the formula says, object comes in the beginning, so we will put my cow in the beginning. Okay, so we'll put my cow in the beginning. Now after my cow, you have had plus been, so object plus had plus been, my cow plus had, and then been, my cow had been. Okay, so I becomes me. And sold, I told you a very remarkable thing about perfect tense. The remarkable thing in past perfect tense is that verb is already in the third form. Okay, so sell, sold, sold. So you need not change the verb. Verb is already in the third form in past perfect tense. Okay, in past perfect tense, verb is already in the third form. So you need to just put this verb only here. No need to change. Now let us move on to the second example. Second example with rule number 2. So had you kept your promise. Okay, so the sentence begins with had. Your question begins with had, so you will also begin your answer with had only. Okay, so had, your object is your promise. So had your promise, and then you have been. Had plus object plus been. So had plus object your promise, and then been. Had your promise been. Third form verb, I told you verb you do not need to change. Kept. So had your promise been kept, and then by plus subject is you. Okay, you is doing the action of keeping the promise, and I told you subject can be either a noun or a pronoun. So in this case you is a pronoun, so you becomes the subject. So you, and you is doing the action also of keeping the promise. Number 3 is with interrogative word. Okay, why, I'm sorry, why had you forgiven that rogue? Why had you forgiven that rogue? So you here is the subject, and that rogue becomes the object. Okay, so how shall we begin the sentence? Look at formula number 3. We begin with that same interrogative word. So here the interrogative word is why. Interrogative words are those words with which we ask questions. Okay, so why here is the interrogative word, so we are going to start the sentence with why, and then after why, after the interrogative word we have had. Okay, so why had. After had we have object. I told you object is that rogue. So why had object is that rogue. Why had that rogue. And then after object we have been, so we are going to put been. It simply follows the formulas. You do not need to do anything, you just need to follow the formula. You'll have to understand the sentence first, and then according to the sentence you have to apply the formula. Okay, so why had that rogue been. Okay, why had that rogue been forgiven? I told you verb in the perfect tense does not change, so this is the verb, it remains the same in the passive voice in your answer. Okay, why had that rogue been forgiven, and then by, according to the formula. If you go by the formula, verb third form plus by plus you, and then question mark. So by, subject is you, and then you put a question mark. Now example number 4. We'll apply rule number 4. Okay, so your sentence has to begin with who. When your sentence will begin with who, then you can, in your answer, in passive voice, you can begin your answer with by whom. So let me give you a question with who. So who had sung a sweet song? Okay, so who had sung a sweet song? So first of all, if you see the word who, you have to begin with by whom. So I begin the sentence with by whom. So by whom, and then what do you have here? Had. By whom had, and then object. Object is a sweet song. You take the determiner also along with the object. Okay, not only the object, but you take the determiner also with the object. Okay, because determiner actually determines in sentence whether the object is singular or plural, and which object. Okay, it sets a specific object. Determiner determines a specific object. Not only that, it shows whether this object is singular or plural. So by whom had a sweet song. So after object, what do you have in the formula? Been. By whom had a sweet song been? Been sung. S-U-N-G, verb third form. So here you have sung, sing, sang, sung, and I told you verb in the perfect tense does not change. So sung. And then question mark. Now by plus subject, first of all, won't be applicable here because you you have already begun your sentence with by. Okay, now I told you that in case if there is a subject, then you have to begin, then you have to use either to or at or with or in if there is a subject. Now if you look at this sentence very carefully, you'll see that there is no subject here. There is no subject. Who had sung a sweet song? A sweet song is the target. Somebody has sung a sweet song, okay, but that somebody is not mentioned in the sentence. Okay, that somebody is not mentioned in the sentence. That is why subject is unknown, and when subject is unknown, there is no problem, we will not use the subject. And when there is no subject, these prepositions also will not be used and it will remain blank, and we will have to stop right here at this point after the verb. So we have stopped after the verb sung, finish, and then question mark, because there is no subject, so the sentence won't continue. So determining a subject and an object in a sentence is very very important. Okay, determining a subject and object in a sentence is very 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 important. Okay, okay, let's continue with formula example number 5, applying formula number 5. So whom. Okay, I gave you plenty of examples with whom. So if I give a sentence in this way, whom had you met there? So your answer will be, you have to begin your sentence with who. Okay, who had. Now what do you have here? You have object, right? But we do not have. I told you object is either a noun or a pronoun. Now there is subject you is doing the action of meeting. Okay, but the object is neither a noun nor a pronoun. There becomes, there shows a place actually, so it is somewhat an indirect object, it is not a direct object. So this is not object in one sense, this cannot be considered a definite object, an exact object. Okay, so what we do is that we skip this object part because this object is for direct object and there is not a direct object. So who had been, this there will be considered an extra. So if I write here, this there will be considered an extra. Extra means second object, second object. And we already know that second object is always placed, is always put after the verb. Okay, this is not a direct object. Direct object is either, how do you know which one is a direct object, which one is indirect object? How will you determine? Direct object is always either a noun or a pronoun. Now the word there is neither noun nor pronoun. This is extra. So there cannot be used as a direct object. Okay, so what we do is that we will skip. So who had been, we jump onto been, we skip object and we jump onto been. So who had been. Okay, so who had been, and then verb third form is met, met, who had been met. And now I had already instructed you, second object will be, second object or any extra word apart from the object will be placed after the verb. So who had been met, so extra word is there, so we will put this extra word after verb third form. So who had been met there, who had been met there, and then verb third form. Okay, and then extra object here, extra object, though I did not put it in the formula, but I'm instructing you again and again that any extra verb will be put after the, any extra word will be put after the verb third form. Okay, and then by and then you. So after verb we have put this extra word here, and then by, and then who had you, so by you, who had been made there by you. So this is it. Okay, so I had sold my cow becomes my cow had been sold by me. See, in any case you will have to remember these formulas. Okay, in any case you'll have to remember these formulas. So these are the examples. Okay, all right, so I hope all of you have understood. Okay, so I hope all of you have understood the explanation for today. We did past perfect tense today, and along with formulas we had done systematically examples. Okay, according to the formulas, systematically according to the formulas. So we have completed very successfully present tense and past tense. And I repeat once again, please go to the channel Omni Gyan in YouTube to watch these videos. All right, so these are live sessions with students. You can go to the channel once again and watch the videos. Okay, and if there are any doubts you can comment in the comment section of the channel. Okay, so that's all for today. Have a good day.